evening and welcome to 7 News. For the first time, WA police have publicly linked the Comancheros to Perth's escalating tobacco wars.
It comes as a chilling note was used to threaten a worker in Rockingham, telling them they had one chance. Rachel Tassica reports.
2 words, but the message is clear. These chilling notes handed to a tobacco shop worker in Rockingham. One allegedly told by Comanchero bikie they had one chance, with a username for encrypted app Signal. The frightening letter drop took less than 30 seconds. 2 men seen on CCTV walking into the store yesterday afternoon. In the middle of the day, their faces covered. Did the Comancheros put you up to this? This is the man police say delivered the threatening note. Pirikatia Wiley, arrested in Averley last night, granted bail today and in a hurry to get home.
What does one chance mean?
He's also accused of telling the worker, close the shop now, stop trading or it will get firebombed. Police say he is a member of the Comancheros, far from helpful, refusing to give detectives the pin to his phone. This is the first time they've publicly named the outlaw motorcycle gang in connection with Perth's tobacco shop wars, one that's been escalating for months. It didn't take police long to track down Pirikatia Wiley, but investigators aren't done. They say there's still another wanted man out in the suburbs tonight. WA police have set up Task Force Maverick to investigate organised crime links to the tobacco trade as the turf war rages on here and around the country. Rachel Tassica, 7 News.
It's looking likely Angus Taylor will become the next Liberal leader. A spill motion is now locked in.
Tomorrow morning's challenge was triggered by a cascade of frontbench resignations today, and it could get ugly for Susan Lee.
Hoping it's a day tailored for change.
You think you got the numbers?
Mate, good to see you this morning. Bit wet out
here. Numbers if it goes to a spill.
His supporters resigning one after another.
The Liberal Party is capable of so much better than this.
Followed by WA Senator Matt O'Sullivan and Queenslander Phil Thompson.
We've been in a death spiral and we need to get out of it.
Mr Thompson and New South Wales Senator Jess Collins formally requesting a leadership spill. Susan Lee agreeing. At 9 a.m. tomorrow, it's on. Her supporters rallying.
This person hasn't even been given a year in the job.
As the resignations flowed, Tasmanian John O'Doniam and Victorian James Patterson, who encouraged Andrew Hastie to shelve his leadership ambitions, declaring for Mr Taylor.
Angus understands that this is a change or die moment for the Liberal Party.
Having resigned himself last night, Angus Taylor finally declaring his candidacy online.
I'm running to be the leader of the Liberal Party because I believe that Australia is worth fighting for.
From the Liberal women who got the ball rolling on Monday.
I believe the best person to take us forward to the election and lead that fight is Angus Taylor.
Jane Hume working the phones, considering running for deputy leader as the resignations continue. Senior WA Conservative Michaelia Cash, Queenslander and former Lee backer James McGrath. An orchestrated uprising, choreographed to build the impression of momentum, and it seems to have worked. Number crunchers tell 7 News Angus Taylor has the numbers. Susan Lee releasing a flurry of social media posts stating her principles before fronting what could be her last question time as leader. Labor lampooning.
Julius Caesar had more support from his senators than what we've seen going on over there today.
And as Liberals prepare tonight to ditch their first ever female leader after just 10 months in the job, a warning.
Any day of the week, an average bloke in the Liberal Party wins over a woman, and the only real qualification you need are the XY chromosomes.
A tough sell for a party that needs to reconnect with female voters.
And Mark Riley is in Canberra. Mark, is there any doubt the writing is on the wall for Susan Lee?
Very little, Sue, and Liberals say it's not because of her gender, it's her ineffectiveness as a leader. Mind you, she hasn't had a fair crack with consistent undermining and the coalition splitting twice, but voter support under her has collapsed catastrophically. 2.1 million voters lost since the election. That's 7,000 a day. And that means the next thing the Liberal Party will lose is Susan Lee as its leader. Rick?
Thanks, Mark. Homes in Glendalough are being blanketed by thick dust and residents say it's taking a toll on their health. Some have spent thousands trying to fortify their homes against the dirt. They say it's coming from a main roads work site and they don't know when the nightmare will end.
Dusty by day, noisy by night.
10:22 at night.
Work like this happening around the clock.
7:04 in the morning.
This is what they were offloading last night at 3:40 in the morning. Spools and spools of cabling.
This laydown yard on Power Street in Glendalough is just metres away from homes. Eddie Williams lives right behind it.
We often find we're just like in a constant dust storm.
He says it's been happening for years. The surrounding houses constantly trapped beneath a relentless cloud of dust.
Where do you stop? You know, you clean it every day and it's dirty every single day.
His children can't even play outside.
It's starting having a really bad impact on everyone's health around the place and allergies and asthma.
Jacinta lives down the road. She blames the dust for her cat's allergies.
Has he had these allergy issues? I've had sinus infections.
She's had to fortify her home.
I've enclosed the balcony. That's cost me $11,000 just to have some sort of barrier between the dirt and noise.
The ones we're concerned about more is the finer dust, and that's the dust that'll get deeper into the lung. Long enough exposure can actually contribute to the development of asthma or chronic respiratory diseases.
Residents say they were told the work here would be temporary. Since then, a number of projects have rolled through the site. They now fear this dusty nightmare might never end. Main Road says Western Power has contractors currently using the site and that it's being managed in line with council approvals.
It's not appropriate to have people living right next to industry.
Enough is enough. We've knocked on every door we can to say, hey, we need some help here.
Rebecca Petroska, 7 News.
250 workers in the southwest are joining the unemployment queue after their American employer decided to shut up shop. It's a blow to them and a blow to the fledgling critical minerals industry. Jeff Parry reports.
When Anthony Albanese and President Donald Trump inked a critical minerals agreement in October last year, workers at a lithium refinery in Kemerton might have thought their jobs were safe. Billions of dollars of investment by both sides to break China's domination of critical minerals and rare earths. But that's just a lot of hot air and theatrics for the refinery workers at Kemerton, their employer, US chemical giant Albemarle, lowering the boom overnight. 250 workers laid off with immediate effect.
They didn't come to us for a solution, and we could have worked with the company to get the best outcome for workers on that site.
6 years ago, there were high hopes for the lithium industry.
This is very exciting. Lithium is exciting.
But a glut on the market pushed prices down and Albemarle was forced to lay off 300 workers in August 2024. Now the rest of the workforce is out the gate. The union says the federal government has money to cushion the industry.
Release some of the funds that they put out for 2027 and help these workers keep their jobs.
While the price of lithium was rebounding, Albemarle says it's not enough to keep the refinery viable.
The cost of doing business in Western Australia is something the state government can and should be working on, and the first port of call there is to keep the price of energy down.
I'm optimistic that if industry and government work together, that we can come back from this.
Jeff Parry, 7 News.
Another bull shark has been spotted in the river, this time in knee-deep water near Rossmoyne. A paddler had a close encounter around 8:40 this morning. The 3-metre shark was lurking 12 metres off the Canning River foreshore. The kayaker wasn't hurt. They reported the frightening interaction to SharkSmart a couple of hours later.
A 27-year-old Middle Swan man has been given a 12-and-a-half-year sentence for manslaughter. Mitchell Boskov ran a red light while fleeing police and hit another car, killing its 22-year-old driver. It happened in Forestfield last July. Boskov pleaded guilty and admitted he'd been awake for 3 days, high on meth.
You believe he's genuinely remorseful for what happened here?
Yeah, we all are.
Do you have any message to the family of the victims?
Hey, we're sorry.
He'll be eligible for parole in 2036.
The FBI and Arizona police are now testing a glove they found today not far from Nancy Guthrie's house.
It's the only new lead detectives seem to have in their hunt for the mother of the US television host after they detained, then released a suspect.
After being questioned by the FBI, his home searched, Carlos Palazuelos was released without charge.
I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it.
The local delivery driver was detained after police followed up on a lead that appears to have gone cold.
They show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
The video, released by the FBI, showing a masked figure creeping on the doorstep of Nancy Guthrie's home the morning she was reported missing.
The images taken on that doorstep are still the strongest lead investigators have in figuring out who took Nancy. In the 24 hours since they've been made public, the FBI has received 4,000 fresh tips.
That's providing some hope for her family, friends and neighbours.
I think it's been very hard for people.
The mystery has gripped America and the world, turning this quiet street into a frenzy of media, onlookers and true crime enthusiasts.
This week we've seen an uptick in more of the true crime aficionados, social media types, who are live streaming the scene of the house.
The FBI are now searching an area around 100 metres from Nancy Guthrie's home. They're looking for anything that can help them solve this case.
Hoping this mystery figure made a mistake. The New York Post reporting a black glove was found 2 kilometres from her home.
There's an image of him standing with no backpack on. And then he walks over and does have the backpack on. So it makes you think, where was that located? Was that in a vehicle? Does he have an accomplice?
Questions investigators are desperate to answer.
Miley Hogan joins us from the Sheriff's Office in Arizona. Miley, where does the investigation stand as it is?
Rick, good evening. Investigators are expected to run DNA testing on that black glove. They need to rule it in or out. Now, as for other leads, 18,000 tips have come in from the public since the very first day that Nancy Guthrie was reported missing, and detectives are sifting through all of those, trying to prioritise what needs to be looked at first as the desperate search for Nancy now enters day 12. Sue.
Miley, thank you. The Reserve Bank boss has snapped back after being accused by a senator of gaslighting Australians.
I think people are only going to get angrier in this country if they're gaslit into thinking that the economy is okay.
I take exception to that comment. I am not gaslighting anyone.
Okay.
Now, I understand that some people are doing it tough. I do understand. I get letters and I read them.
The RBA hiked the cash rate at last week's meeting.